Do you ever notice how there is a fairly thick layer of gray in the sky when you look towards downtown? The talk about greenhouse gases has been a big topic of the discussion in our country for some time now. Differences of opinion exist for our presidential candidates because they can't decide whether they want to save our planet or not. So it's up to the individual to reduce the effects of greenhouse gases since we spend a lot of time in our homes nowadays. Because I wanted to come well equipped for this speech, I spent days researching this topic so that I could come forward with the best info I could find at my disposal. Today, I will be telling the class why our country should move to solar energy in order to power our homes. I'll be discussing the problem with how our homes are powered traditionally, what have been the causes of increase in popularity for solar panel installation, and what each of us can do now to reduce the amount of energy we use in our homes. In the US, we tend to take for granted the luxury of power in our homes, not knowing how much everything we have wastes on a daily basis. Turning on our lights, opening the fridge, running water, they all have effects on the environment available to us. According to large.stanford.edu, about 10 years ago, almost 50% of the electricity in the US was generated from the coal-fired power plants. It is highly undoubtful that this number has not gone up since then, especially since we've been stuck in our homes for the past 8 months of 2020. Regardless, this is detrimental to the environment because how much 50% of fossil fuels is used for about the entire population of the US. Yes, these fossil fuels do have to be found from the ground, but their use does not only affect the sky above us with each use. According to Ryan Gaitner, not only are these processes invasive, but they destroy the ground at the location of the excavation, which side effects arise, such as erosion and geological instability. What we consider necessary for life in the 21st century is actually destroying our environment. Many people rely on these lands for crop production and water, and the erosion caused by these excavation sites leaves room for increased flooding, loss of fertile land, and clogged up waterways, all fixable by switching to solar, which is renewable and causes no harm to the ground we step on or the sky above us. Another huge issue with traditional energy is that it's just too expensive. These It's very pricey to pay for electric utilities. According to Sunrun, in 2014, the US average residential household used about 911 kilowatts per hour every month, and the average bill was $114 before taxes and fees. Everyone wants to save money, and the problem with our current energy setup is that it's just too expensive, especially these days with coronavirus keeping us inside basically all day. Some households can't even afford to pay their electricity bill every month, so it seems like a more sustainable energy source, which could help those of all income sources. Although our current way of we power our homes is part of the increasing negative effects on our Earth's environment, we weren't always this way. Certain causes brought up the need for change that we sit with today. With our human activities, we have begun to change the composition of the atmosphere, destroying the Earth little by little. Although it is now beginning to get colder here in San Diego, the summer was definitely filled with a lot of air conditioning blasted days. According to climate scientist Kevin Trenberth, it's using quite a lot of energy, pumping carbon dioxide into the atmosphere because it's using that electricity. It may be difficult for some of us to make it through San Diego summers, which is why switching to solar energy would help decrease the amount of CO2 that we put into the atmosphere while still allowing us to enjoy that luxury. The same can be said about the combustion engine. Although it takes us from point A to B, it's still one of the main reasons, especially in our current climate, as to why we need to make changes. Governor Gavin Newsom has said transportation currently accounts for more than 50% of California's greenhouse gas emissions. Here in San Diego, there's a huge car scene, and although vehicles are expensive, fun, and personalized, they contribute to the growing problem that we have. The problem lies in cost as well. Electric cars are pretty costly, and not everyone is willing to stop using traditional transportation, which is where something discreet like solar panels can help buy us time and help solve our problem with the climate. Overall, it has been very difficult to quit using fossil fuels. Its efficiency, convenience, and logistics are why it's so addicting to us as a civilization. Up to this point, although many other forms of energy have been introduced, none of them have been able to supplement our use with fossil fuels. This is why we see certain areas of our energy consumption get replaced with wind turbines, solar panels, things of that sort. Every issue has a solution, and luckily for us, there are some things we can do to help or buy us more time as we try to fix our issue with our electricity usage. There are some things we can do as a class in order to reduce the amount of electricity used in our home on a daily basis. This one seems simple. Unplug everything in your house when you're not even using it. Life Brighter defines them as energy vampires, those appliances and electronics that draw small amounts of power 24/7, even when we're not using them. Although that same blog shortly after mentions that unplugging can save you about $100 to $200 a year, it also affects the environment. Leaving all those things using electricity adds up, and it's a little more that we hurt the environment every single day, something that could be easily solvable with solar energy running our homes. This could be especially helpful on because nowadays we're trying to keep up with everything in our current lives that we just forget to unplug things. The other option is to contact solar installation to find out whether this will fit within our budget and if it will be possible on our property. Energy Sage states that you can drastically reduce or eliminate your electric bill. Most of these solar panels last for about 25 years. That's free energy that could be powering your home to get you through the rest of the coronavirus and about another quarter of your life. You could start by having a conversation with your family about investing in solar energy and explaining to them all the benefits that you get from it and trying to make the cost one of the reasons because it's an easier way to get your guardians to pay attention. Now, if you live on your own, one of the most important things you can do is invest in a smart power strip to connect multiple appliances that you use on a daily basis. Smart power strips can actually cut off power and save energy since they are able to detect when a device is in standby mode. This is helpful for the forgetful people that I mentioned earlier, something to add us a little more time to this earth. There's a lot of evidence pointing to the idea of us advocating for our country to move to solar energy in order to power our homes, saving the environment. Today I discussed in class the problem with our traditional electric energy powered homes, what have been the causes of change, and how we can reduce the amount of energy used to power our homes. Although we could argue that we won't experience all the harmful things that we've done to this earth in our lifetime, think about the kids, think about the next generation after us, think about everyone that was just born today. Why should they suffer and not get to live in a beautiful world because we couldn't change our ways in time?